Welcome back to the Today with Tally podcast, folks. We have a great show in store for you today. We sit down with the founder and the CEO of Grill Your Ass Off, based here in Texas. But first,
hello, friends, and welcome to another exciting episode of Today with Tally. The mission and goal of this podcast is to bring an engaging conversation that will add value to the lives of everyday people. We will inspire, encourage, educate, and tell the stories of America's finest men and women in an effort to motivate you to live your life to its fullest potential. Be sure to follow us on social media and search Today with Tally. Be sure to subscribe, follow, and share the program as well. Ladies and gentlemen, your host of the evening, Mr. Brian Tally.
our next guest is one of the fastest growing veteran-owned seasoning companies in America. Now, Grill Your Ass Off has recently been featured on Fox and Friends. Forbes Fox Business was named the veteran-owned small business of the year in 2022 by the American Freedom Fund. And with that, we are honored to bring in the CEO and the founder of Grill Your Ass Off, Jason Murff. How are you, sir?
I'm wonderful. I appreciate you having me back on again.
Absolutely. You are a great friend of the program. And, when we crossed paths all those months ago, we've really, developed a great relationship here, both on the friend side and on the professional side. And it's definitely something that we have both nurtured and continue to do, as I'm a big supporter of you and you're a supporter of me. And that's what we do here in the veteran community, man. So again, the pleasure is all mine.
Yeah, no, and that's it's nice to be able for you to just say that. That wasn't scripted or anything like that, anyone listening, because that's what the veteran community should be. And there's not enough of that going on inside of the veteran community. So please, anyone listening, even outside the veteran community, if you have a friend with a small business or a friend that's trying to make it somewhere, be there, support them. And you have no idea how much they will appreciate that.
Very, very good words indeed. Now, a lot of folks transition out of the military. You one being a U.S. Army veteran, had some sort of a tough transition, trying to figure things out. As many veterans do, trying to find that purpose after your service. And I want to give the audience just a quick elevator pitch on where you got where you're at before we really dive into, the Independence Fund and Sailor Jerry's and all these newer things that we're going to be talking about with you, within your company. What was your transition like, and what led you to creating Grill Your Ass Off, a seasoning company based right here in Texas?
Yeah, so I mean, if you look back at it like holistically, I'm the poster child of what not to do whenever you're getting out of the military. Before leaving for the military, I had two different businesses. One of them I shut down, the other one I kept open, and kind of handed off to my sister to have her operate while I was gone. And being in the military was kind of that childhood dream that I always wanted to do. And I was like, I'm not getting any younger, so I might as well get it knocked out now. And doing my time there at the old guard, it's not what I wanted to do while I was in the infantry, but it's what I was voluntold to do, so I had to get it done. And I ended up getting a medical injury on my ankle, which then led to botched surgery, which then led to the choice of re-enlisting as a paper pusher or getting medically discharged. So my time was cut early, and I really didn't have any foresight on what I wanted to do after that. And one of the guys who I was in with for the longest time, he was like, "Hey, I'm going to go fly helicopters. I found a school that accepts the GI Bill." And I was like, "Yeah, that would be pretty cool. So let me go and do that." And we transitioned and kind of looked at it and said, well, hey, if we start with fixed wing first, we can switch over to rotor, have all these more certifications. So that was pretty much that. I moved back to Houston for about 2 weeks and then moved to Waco, Texas, and started college. Found out really quick that flying a school bus in the sky is not for me. It's pretty boring. There's not a whole lot to do once you're up there outside, look out the window and watch GPS and follow a straight line. So pretty much after the first few months of that little hype and fun, like, oh my God, I'm flying a plane, I was like, yeah, this is not what I want to do for a living. So I started looking at other alternatives. And, entrepreneurship's always been the thing that's just beaten at the back door on me while I'm not doing it, to go and do something. And while I was in, I started crafting and formulated seasonings because I was doing men's physique competitions and I was working out a ton, eating super healthy, super restricted. So it's bland, boring food. So we got to spice it up. And, being in DC, there's no flavor up north like there is in Texas. So that's why I started making it. And I just never thought I would do anything with it. So I started, making small batches, hustling it out of the garage apartment that I had while I was in Waco, Texas, until the point where I said, screw it. Dropped out of college and then moved back to Houston. And then that was pretty much the start of Grill Your Ass Off. So we've rapidly grown here. In October, it'll be 7 years.
Outstanding. And, growing up Texan like you did, you've always had that passion for cooking. We all know Texans love to eat and especially love to eat barbecue, but, you've formulated so many different types of seasonings and sauces, within your own brand. And now it's morphed into something so much bigger than just the sauces in the season, in the seasonings. It's building relationships with other veteran nonprofit groups. And it's building lasting relationships with other manufacturers like Sailor Jerry's. It is a product line that you carry. And you also work directly with the Independence Fund. Would you mind describing both of those relationships and how those worked out to be?
Yeah, so I mean, this is the coolest thing is, way back in the day, sitting in that apartment in Waco, like, as soon as I was out of class, I'd pick up the phone and I would always be in touch with the guys who I served with. And while I was starting this company, it was one of those things like I want it to be that product that I needed at that time during my time of transitioning and my dark point, but also what my guys and the people like brothers and sisters that I served with would want too. And that's how the name Grill Your Ass Off came to be is, we dark humor is what got us through our hardest times. So if I can bring light by humor on a product, amazing. And then, our mission statement, continued camaraderie through good ass barbecue. That right there, like that's what ties everything in together because good food brings everyone together. It doesn't matter race, religion, politics. You put down a gnarly brisket, everyone's going to shut up and enjoy their time there. So, and that's how a lot of this stuff ties in together is, for instance, you were talking about Sailor Jerry Spice Rum. They reached out to us last year and they actually shot us an email and went over to our spam filter, actually. And James forwarded me over the email and he was like, hey, this is probably just spam or like a BS email, but you might want to reach out and talk to them. So I shot them back a message and they said, hey, our board of advisors, like we all sat down, our team voted that Grill Your Ass Off would be our number one pick to have you make a barbecue sauce for Sailor Jerry Spice Rum with our rum inside of it. And it was just kind of like, I would love to do that because they were founded by a Navy veteran. And with that, one of the next things is like, okay, hey, cool. We would love you to make it. It's two veteran companies. And the very next thing I was like, hey, we want to be able to give back. If we're going to do this, let's do it right. So we agreed, hey, let's give 50% of every single bottle sold back to a nonprofit. And then I said, okay, I want to pick the nonprofit because there's so many nonprofits out there. They do so many great things, but there's also some nonprofits out there that just kind of raise awareness to stuff that everyone's already aware of. So, and that's why I chose the Independence Fund. And they're a company, we've been working with them since 2018. They have so many different programs that they do that they stretch across the board, whether it's a first responder, veteran, you're active duty, you're a caregiver at house for a veteran. They have everything. So we partnered up with them on that specifically for their operation resiliency that they do. And what OPRES basically is they take a group of veterans who were in a combat environment and bring them back together. So it's not just, oh, hey, you're a veteran, you were in combat. We got Air Force, Coast Guard, Marines, Navy, even though they're the same branch. got to get at least one dig in on you. It's not taking just a bunch of random veterans who were all in combat together. You're taking that actual company of veterans who were there in the thick of it together, and they bring them back on a 4 to 5 day mental health retreat. They have mental health professionals there. They have assistance with, grants, funding, getting their VA claims knocked out. I've gone out to some of them to be able to help with entrepreneurship with it. And it's absolutely phenomenal. One of my last leadership guys that I was in with just did the last operas that they had, and it's like crazy small world. And one of the coolest things with this is our first batch of sauce that we did. We have the check right there, just over $4,100, and I'm getting ready to sign another check that's going to be just over $5,000 for just our second batch of sauce that we just got done making. So it's a huge impact, and with that, we're able to cover all travel expenses with a check that size. Plus, we also do, we have charity bundles on our website, and we do roundups. We do a ton of different ways to give back, but that was kind of like my bread and butter. I know this nonprofit. I know they do amazing things, and I really want to just focus on how can we help these guys the most. And that was with that partnership, thankfully, with Sailor Jerry and the Independence Fund. And it's been absolutely phenomenal so far.
Love it. And folks, here is your Sailor Jerry sauce here that Grill Your Ass Off has made and bottled. Grill Your Ass Off is a very unique company. These guys pride themselves on the highest quality ingredients, and as well as their branding. I mean, these guys here, you hold their product and it's all very appealing. It's got great terms and great words, very military and veterans, centric. It's got, like this one here is gunpowder, and this one here is the Willie Pete chicken seasoning, and here's the the whiskey smoked sea salt, and they've got a lot of other awesome names that are very well thought of and very unique. And like your hot sauce. What's the hot sauce one called? I've already been to 2 bottles of that.
Fire Chief hot sauce. So that was our first one that we did, because most of all of our stuff, it's either humor based related or military related. And I was like, hey, let's do one that's more towards first responders. So it's like, all right, we're doing a hot sauce. Like it should be the fire department that we should do it after. So, and that's that's a start of what's about to happen a lot more here in the future. As we continue to grow and expand the business, we're going to expand some new product lines that I'm super excited about. Taking a little bit longer than I would like for it to come out, but we've also been slammed. So can't have everything all at once. So we have a lot of cool stuff coming. But like what you were just saying, and this is for anyone who's in business, trying to start a business or something like that, like those labels didn't just come overnight and look like that. And to give you an idea, this is one of the first bottles to ever be made. Like this is
big difference right there. That's called innovation right there. I mean, your packaging is incredible. And folks, it really all is in the packaging. Of course, you need to have a great product as well. But look at Apple for an example. The way they package their phones, it's almost like you want to keep the box. It's just a great package, and so that's the same way with Grill Your Ass Off when it comes to a lot of their custom artwork and the way that they get this product out to the general public is it's gotta be eye catching. And that is exactly what Jason Murff and his team have done. You've got a great marketing staff, you've got some, a great art department, and really at the end of the day, the business plan that I see more of you, it is the humor that gets you through the dark times. And, again, to share a laugh, share that camaraderie, eat good food, and, break bread, and enjoy that fellowship that you're having with everybody. Food brings people together, and right now, go ahead.
I was, not to cut you off, I was going to say, on that, like bringing people together, it's like with the whole entire veteran aspect of things is you look at the media, you look on social media, and for the most part, it's just people bringing veterans down. And just highlighting on negative, 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 whenever there's so many amazing veterans like yourself doing stuff on a daily basis, making our community better, making everyone stronger, helping with mental health. There's just so much positive happening, and it's not spotlighting. And with us, we want to bring everyone together, because as a veteran, it's very easy to go in that dark corner and stay in that dark corner, and that's whenever bad things happen. So if we can pull a guy out and bring him over for a backyard barbecue, and we can do that, across the country with our products, or we can have you inside of a store, see gunpowder steak and brisket seasoning or Madu steak seasoning, pick up a phone and call your battle buddy you were with downrange and be like, oh shit, I found this seasoning. You need to go check it out. Like, that phone call can save a life. And that's literally what we're trying to do here. It's why we're working with the Independence Fund, is like, hey, let's bring these guys together and remind them that they're the badass motherfuckers that stood up, raised their hand, defended the country, and they should own that, not be disabled.
Right. No, I agree what you're saying. A lot of veteran organizations and a lot of these 501c3s, again, a smaller percentage, but they make a lot of noise, are trying to almost keep them down, because that's how they can generate so much revenue. And really, at the end of the day, there are so many great veterans out there who are thriving and doing great things. And, of course, it probably always didn't start out that way, but they've grown into that new person and have blossomed through that adversity in their life, through either life challenges or, just the ups and downs of life. We all go through traumatic type situations, and it's all how you adapt to that change and those circumstances that will ultimately define who you are down the road. Now, you said, you brought up something like, oh, hey, I saw your stuff in the store, and I picked up the phone. I called my friend. Dude, that's happened to me with you several times. We were in San Antonio a couple months ago, and my son goes, Dad, dude, your guy's stuff is right there. And I walked over there, and we're all taking pictures with it and selfies with it and all that stuff. And I sent it to you, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's bunker. Is it like bunker 45?
Yeah, bunker 27. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Bunker 27. And man, that was awesome. And this is just a hat and shirt and hoodie and a clothing store, but they had done a set aside for you that was this big area that was all of your products. And I was like, man, that's very awesome. It's right near the checkout. And you got all your hoodies, your gear, your shirts, and your hats. And this guy's an Air Force veteran. And then you come and you see all of your stuff right there. And again, perfect way to market your product for people to grab it right at the checkout there, and then go home and, put a brisket on the smoker, or make some chicken, or have some great barbecue sauce to go with with your chicken and ribs and all that other stuff. It just makes all the sense in the world. And then additionally, a couple weeks ago, my boy says the same thing. Dad, your dude's on TV now. And I'm like, Fox and Friends. No shit, there's Murff. You know what I mean? What was that experience like? I mean, guys, this guy was just on Fox and Friends over the 4th of July weekend. Now, that was in New York City, right?
Yeah, that was Tuesday morning there at the Fox studio in their pavilion.
How did this develop? How did you end up on the set of Fox and Friends with... I mean, I'm talking, there was a beer there was ribs, there was, brisket, and all of your products laid out there with all of the, biggest names in Fox News. How did this happen?
So it was a wild range of events. Earned media is something, as a business owner, that's something that you're always driving towards. And, we've tried so hard, and unfortunately, I was the one who decided to start a company with a bad word in it. So most people instantly turned me down. So I've never had, we've been on local news stations, and we've done commercials and all these different kind of, partnerships with people. And normally the first thing is, hey, you can't say your company name. Similar to what happened here in just a minute. So thankfully, like we have GYAOinc.com, we have GrillYourBleepOff.com, and like I've countered these, so whenever we get those feedbacks, like, nah, I got this stuff. This was a collaboration effect, with Sailor Jerry, their marketed team, and us all working together. We were able to get in Forbes last year. We were able to be, Fox Business, and with this one, we kind of sat down with the Independence Fund, and we were like, hey, like this is the second batch. Like the first batch, like was a huge success. I want to better this batch. I want to knock this batch out of the freaking park. So we started discussing about, hey, let's see if we can't pull off Fox and Friends. So it was one of those things to where, I've been told so many times throughout my time in business, oh, hey, you're going to be on this. Hey, you're going to be on this. Hey, you're going to be on this. And then nothing ever happens. So yeah, I'm to the point now where I'm just mute whenever I hear that. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll believe it whenever I'm there. So the fourth was on a Tuesday. That Thursday before was whenever I got the confirmation that we were going to be on. So I had 5 days to prep. Thankfully, the talking, being on live TV, everything, I've done it multiple times before, so no sweat in the park. Pretty easy, good to go. It was the logistics, and especially, people who don't know, like for a small business, like the logistics and the potential traction that something like Fox News can bring in makes your brain explode thinking about it. Thinking about inventory and all of that kind of stuff. So, and God bless Jessica, because she was the one who got the hit list as soon as Fox pushed it out, because she writes online publications for them. She sent me a screenshot. She was like, holy shit, dude, Fox News, congrats. And I was just like, oh, I guess I'm going to Fox. So first things first was, like, hey, book the plane ticket. Cool, we're good to go. And then, the back and forth communication on what exactly they wanted. And they basically said, we want the ultimate 4th of July freedom, like fest, barbecue, all of it. And I'm just like, I'm halfway across the country. And then to not only put that, on top of being halfway across the country, the 4th of July is a holiday. It's on a Tuesday. There's zero way possible that I can overnight anything and have it be frozen or on ice, and make it there in time. Not only that, they wanted a barbecue pit on site as well, on top of all the food. So now I'm stuck here in Texas trying to source a grill and all of the food, tables, everything like that I needed. Thankfully, for non-food related stuff, the Independence Fund, they actually had someone drive up from Charlotte, North Carolina, and meet me in New York City, which was an amazing help. And that was one of the things with that. It's like, hey guys, like we did this together. Like I want to give you as much spotlight as we can to where we all are successful with this. So that's why you see on that feature, the Independence Fund tablecloths, and we use like back props and everything like that. So we were able to really marry everything together. So I was like, cool, got that knocked out. Next thing is I need to figure out how to get a brisket, 2 racks of ribs, jalapeno poppers, bacon crackers, chicken wings, and, cocktails and all this kind of stuff from Texas to New York. And for most people who don't smoke a whole lot, typically, if you're doing a brisket the way I do them, it's going to take about 24 hours total with cook time and rest time until it's ready. It's like, okay, countdown's on, like it's Saturday. So I started smoking everything Saturday. So knocked out brisket Saturday, let it rest all day Sunday, smoked the ribs on Sunday, and got everything else cooked, Sunday. And on Sunday was even more of a nightmare of things other than just trying to manage everything. United canceled my flight 3 different times. I had to find another flight. So stress and all that kind of stuff's up in the air. And then, again, since we can't overnight anything and you can't carry on a plane a whole bunch of meat, I have to check a bag. So I had a small insulated cooler that could collapse down, and I just kept everything inside my fridge until like the minute I had to leave for the airport. And I put 2 freezer packs that you would put in like lunch packs, and I just packed all this meat and shit inside of this cooler, shoved it all down, and then I grabbed my sous vide machine and anything else I needed, threw it in a giant check bag, went and dropped it off. And the second I tell you I dropped that off at the airport, I had my phone in my hand that whole entire flight until I landed and had it back in my hand, refreshing the United app. Because I'm just like, do not lose this check bag. Do not lose this check bag. If I lose this, I'm going to be screwed. And, our plan B was like, hey, we're going to have to find the best barbecue place in New York, buy a whole bunch of stuff and make it look like we made it if they lose this. Because you can't, we're out of time at that point. So, get there. Everything ended up being perfect. Thank God. Trans over to the hotel. We get everything back on ice. Then that night, I met up with Sean with the Independence Fund. We went by Target. I grabbed a giant clear tote, had some dinner. And then, the day of, wake up 4:00 in the morning, fill the tote full of water, put all the meat inside of there because I'd already vacuum sealed it, left it wrapped in butcher paper. And then I started the sous vide machine. And if anyone doesn't know what a sous vide machine, it's basically circulating device of water that heats it up to a certain temperature. So with that point right there, knocking out, getting all of the food up to a safe temperature to feed these guys on Fox. So we can already save time. So at 4:00 in the morning, I have a giant tub sitting in my hotel room circulating with 140-degree water. Got that good to go. We headed over to Fox News at about 6:00 in the morning. Thankfully, Matt, if you listen to this, love you to death. He owns a couple Ace Hardwares inside New York. He was able to have one of his drivers drop off a Traeger grill on a pallet fully disassembled for me at the hotel. So then Sean could then pull his SUV that he drove up to Charlotte, North Carolina, load this Traeger, get to Fox. We just hand tightened everything together because it just had to be there, function, and look pretty. We get the whole entire setup, everything going, good to go. We get the cue. We're about 30 minutes out from going live. I'm like, all right, cool. I need to turn this Traeger on. I'm going to put one rack of ribs on it, put a little bit of sauce on there. And then everything else I already have plated and done on the table. Well, I go to turn the Traeger on and it gives me a fan error. So it's not turning on. And at this point we had just gotten 30-minute queue. So I'm like, shit. Thankfully, back in 2019, we had the same issue with a different Traeger in the middle of the Nevada desert, and almost burnt down our rental minivan. So I knew exactly how to fix it because I had to fix it in the desert while we were making a whole bunch of tacos and pulled pork sandwiches. So instantly went into fix it mode, and we actually had a guy there that was an 82nd Airborne vet, and he had a freaking multi-tool on him, of all people. So he pulls out a multi-tool. So I take the Traeger apart, I fix it, I get it back together, I get it going, and we're like 15 minutes until we're live. And thankfully I'm just like, oh God, like it's all good. Like we're good to go. So we do the little teaser segment. All the anchors start to come out and they're all talking to me. And if you've never been on most live television, they don't give you an earpiece, but for, this scale, they'll give you an earpiece. And not only is it for them to give you cues, but you can hear what's being said on the main broadcast. So I'm listening to one of the guys on there go on this rant right before they hand it over to me. And I hear the producer go, "Hey, Jason." And I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" And I just got done cutting the brisket. I'm like, wiping off my hands. And he's like, "Hey, Jason." I'm like, "Yeah, this is Jason. What's up?" And he's like, "Hey, just to give you a heads up, we're 30 seconds till we're live. You can't say grill your ass off on air. You're going to have to say GYAO. And I'm just like, okay, well, in the emails before, like we had agreed on grillyourbleepoff.com. They're like, "Yeah, no, it's all good. We're just going to use GYAO. So I'm just like, oh, crap. All right, cool. And then he's like, "All right, cool. 15 seconds. We're going live." And I'm just like, well, all right, let's do it. Do it live. So we went live. Thankfully, it was an easy transition and shift for me. The hardest thing was just making sure that all of that food that I had prepped on Saturday and then presented to the nation on Tuesday morning was perfect. Thankfully, everything, we executed it great. If y'all go watch the segment, all of them very much enjoyed it. Some of them probably a little bit too much. And yeah, I mean, the producers there, everyone loved it. They sent out all of the interns to basically steal all the food and bring it back inside the studio. We wrapped everything up. It gave us a record-breaking day. and of sales. So we've acquired a ton of new amazing customers, and we've already put a huge dent into the second batch of the Sailor Jerry barbecue sauce. So not only are we able to present another check to the Independence Fund from this, but we're able to be that much closer to doing another batch to then present another check and just make this and marry it all together so much better than we have before. So it was absolutely phenomenal. And then, pretty much after that trip, I had planned on, staying up watching the fireworks, but at about 6 p.m., I was a little tuckered out after the long weekend and no sleeping and anything like that. So called it a night and then flew back to Texas the next day. And we've been working pretty much 12, 15-hour shifts 7 days a week since then.
You were absolutely gassed, but you guys absolutely knocked it out of the ballpark. And New York loves their baseball, and you guys had a home run there. I mean, again, it was impeccable. And it was something that brought me a lot of pride too, because I know you personally. We've got a good relationship. And again, it was my son that was like, it was Brady, he's very, like he sees everything. He's like, Dad, your guys' stuff is right there. And I'm like, oh, okay. But Bunker 27 experience. And then Dad, dude, your guys on Fox and Friends. So it's just all this stuff going on at one time, man. I was like, man, what an awesome experience. And I was definitely proud of you, man. I think I had texted you when you were still alive. I was like, dude, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
See for yourself what this is all about. Now, check them out online at grillyourassoff.com. That's grillyourassoff.com, or call today, 832-864-5856. That's 832-864-5856. What they like to say is taste the freedom. And you will not be disappointed in these sauces and these seasonings. And really, it's morphed into just more than that now. The hats that they provide and the shirts and the sayings and everything else that goes along with military humor and the Texas grilling your meat type humor, if you can understand what I mean about that. Phenomenal shirts, phenomenal marketing. And that brings me to today's show sponsor. You want to talk about another phenomenal veteran-owned company. Today's show sponsor is Patch Ops. Now, Patch Ops is a veteran-owned small business that provides infantry-inspired, high-quality PVC morale patches. You see this hat I'm wearing right now? Well, guess what? If I don't want to wear this hat, I simply take off this patch right here, right? Major League Jarhead. And I say, yeah, let's go with the old Betsy Ross flag, right? So this is kind of hard to do, but boom, you put it on and you've got your hat change. I want to change it up again. All right, cool. Well, there you go. You can go with the American flag, right? The little desert colors there. But really, at the end of the day, these guys are in business for doing everything. I mean,
it's so hard. People don't understand, like, whenever you're on these, everything's backwards.
Oh, I know. And guys, U.S. Marine veteran Timothy Hickey is the president and founder of Patch Ops. And he has really taken this business to new heights, folks. And it has morphed into something far bigger than just PVC morale patches. The same thing I was just talking about with our friend there, Murff. Now, Patch Ops has an art team that is ready to draw up and create your own custom designs. Custom designs for what you want. Logos for a friend, logos for a colleague, a neighbor, or even a veterans event. Visit patchops.com online today and see for yourself. Patch Ops offers patches, stickers, shirts, hats, and much more. Connect today by visiting patchops.com. Timothy Hickey is also a big-time veteran advocate and is out doing the very hard work, beating the mean streets of Cleveland as well, and helping out the veteran homeless population in Cleveland. Is something that he's not looking for a lot of fanfare on, but it's something he continues to do, as he is very passionate about getting the homeless veterans off the streets of Cleveland. So for that, we definitely commend you for the work that you're doing over at Patch Ops and the work that you're doing in your community, Timothy Hickey. Now, folks, we are back with our great friend, CEO and founder of Grill Your Ass Off. Now, I got a couple of questions for you. Now, what was your experience like? I've always wondered how this stuff works, like on Fox News and Fox and Friends, when you're out there doing a live show, you're outside, you're in their, pavilion. Like, do you have to pay for your own transportation? Is there any compensation involved? Or is this like 100% like volunteer your own time and put in all your own assets and all of your own money in order to make this stuff happen?
It's all on you. Like there's no reimbursement or anything like that. I'm sure there's probably other segments and things that they do on there that yeah they'll 100% reimburse you on. But like for the experience that we did, no, it's 100% on you. And for a lot of it, the easier you are on them, the more that they like. So um, you know, and it's been the same way every single news station or anything like that I've been on, whether it's national or local. They're not going to give you a whole lot of details. They just want you to show up. They want you to do your thing. They want you to do it well, and then call it a day. And then if they liked you, they'll give you a phone call back whenever they got another spot for you. And if they don't, you'll never hear from them again. So, I mean, that's pretty much how that is, and that's how it goes. So it was kind of um, it's a little daunting because you don't know exactly what you're getting into until it's like, hey, it's time to go live. But at the same time, it's fun. It keeps you on your toes. And I know some people don't like that, but I enjoy it.
Sure. Now, you had mentioned that you had a record-breaking day during that live segment that was really only maybe 2 minutes long. But that's really all you need on national TV when they have an audience of, I don't know, 15 to 20 million perhaps watching this show that you were on, especially very early in the morning, 4th of July weekend. People are looking for tips and tricks on outdoor barbecues and everything else like that. And all of a sudden, here you are again, impeccable food. The presentation was amazing. The table layout was amazing. And I was really shocked to see how well everything was actually prepped. And so, again, those are questions that I've had, since I've seen it. But the record-breaking day, explain the sales. I don't need numbers, but uh, what type of percent did you see in the increase in your business just because you were on national TV?
I mean, from a normal Tuesday, we're talking in the hundreds above percent wise. And to not get too far in depth, but to break it down to everyone, if you have an Apple Watch, wherever you get a text or a notification, it vibrates once. Well, same thing to where if we get a sale on my website, it'll vibrate once. So on that segment, I always keep my watch on silent. So I had it on and I had it on silent. And I had it fully charged that morning whenever I got up at 4. And as soon as we were about 6 seconds into that segment, I started getting a little bramp, 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 and then it increased. And then once we were about halfway done in that segment, it felt like somebody just took a vibrator and strapped it to my forearm. And it was just a solid vibration. And by about 2 p.m. that day, my watch was dead. Just like solely based on notifications. Because typically I can go like, 48 hours on a freaking single charge. So it's been, absolutely crazy. And it's putting a ton of workload on, my guys and myself. But, thankfully we have some awesome veterans here that, and first responders that step up to the field and they hustle, and that's how we get it done. That's how we're able to keep up and then also produce a product that we're all proud to stand behind.
I can't believe the power of TV, Fox and Friends. That's just incredible that you're seconds into this live and they're already buying. They're like, yep,
Yeah.
I like it. I'm going to give it a shot. And like you said, it's all about logistics and having a packed warehouse. You can't have it overly stocked because you don't want to be holding on to stuff. But then again, you can't be too understocked. Then you're going to be upsetting a lot of customers that want to try your product. How did you prepare with having such limited advance time, if you will, on getting these orders out on time and pleasing your customers, as they were all brand new customers, and you want that repeat business. You want them to have a very good first impression and a good overall experience. What did that look like?
Yeah, so over the thousands of orders that came in, we were less than 1% return customer rate. And to put that in perspective, we're typically in the 50 to 65% range on return customer rate on daily sales. So it's all brand new people basically. Um, and with that, and this is where, communication comes in so key effective. And that was something, that's always drilled in our head inside the military is communicate, 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 communicate. So the second I found out, like, hey, we got a good chance of being on Fox, picked up the phone to all of my suppliers, manufacturers, everyone that we source anything from that could cause a logistical, kink in the road, saying, hey, there's a 90% chance I'm going to be on Fox. So we were running low on these products right here. So I want to go ahead. Let's put in a decent size order that we would normally do, plus, a little bit, and get that rolling. But be prepared for these items right here. This is what we're going to push while we're on the segment. And this is what we're most likely going to need more of. So it's that communicating and staying on top of everyone, outside of, just staying on top of our inventory inside the warehouse. And then once we were actually confirmed and good to go, it's another phone call or email saying, hey, we are confirmed. This is our go time. Again, this is what we're going to push. This is what we're going to need. I'm not going to do any kind of crazy forecasting stuff because, we could have been 30 seconds out. And instead of them telling me, hey, you can't say grill your ass off on the air, they could have been, hey, North Korea just launched another rocket. You're off the news. We're going to spotlight this. So,
Yeah.
and that's one of those things, like, you really don't know until it's time to go. And then that's where, proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Like, it's another thing from the military. It's having those automated emails and the messaging and staying in touch with your customers, letting them know, like, hey guys, we just had a crazy freaking spotlight on Fox News. We're a little behind. Keep in mind, we're a small veteran and first responder brand business. Like, give us some time, your order will be coming. And staying in touch with them, staying ahead, and then humanizing that email to have the correct images and the correct wording, so that if they are a brand new customer, they see a Fox image and they see certain verbiage inside there that makes them feel comfortable knowing that, hey, we are going 100%. We're not just trying to screw you and take your money. We will have your product ready, we will have your order go. It's just taking a little bit longer than expected.
The care packages that you have sent me as a non-paying customer, you sent to me to try out your stuff just because you wanted me to try it. You are a show sponsor. Again, we're very thankful for that. But to get a care package, again, that I didn't pay anything for, the presentation of what you sent me was, again, impeccable. So I can imagine the folks that are buying your products for the first time on how they are treated. You treat everybody the same way. What you see is what you get in Murph. And if you guys follow him on social media, what you see is what you get. This guy makes food every day. He's got some awesome recipes that he uses all of his own products in. And folks, if you're hungry, I definitely recommend you don't go and watch this, or else you're going to end up going to the store and spending about $800 on a bunch of meat, and you're going to come home and you're going to have a lot of leftovers, because what this guy makes, again, it's phenomenal. I recommend you go check him out online too and grill your ass off. But I want to know the truth, and be honest with me. When you were on that airplane, were you sweating it a little bit with all that meat you were carrying in that cooler, dude? Was there some sort of anxiety levels that were kind of a little elevated, trying to figure out, okay, because I can just imagine your head and your brain going just a million miles an hour on the what ifs and this, that, and the other, or were you just totally, nope, I got this, I'm good?
There's definitely a couple spikes of oh shit moments that run through your head, but a lot of it's like, is this just a situation that I can control right now? No, it's not. I've done everything in my power to plan to prevent everything that could go wrong to not happen. And if something does go wrong, we have a B and C plan just in case. So having all of that, it's just like it's you. Once you get stressed out to a certain point, you have to take a step back, off the firing line and realize, like, Is this something I can control? No. Have we planned everything? Yes. Do I need to be this stressed out about it or worried about it? No. We'll get there whenever we get there, and then we'll freaking, go at it once we're there. So, yes, like, I consistently was checking the United app to make sure at least like, hey, my check bag made it on the plane. Cool, it's on the freaking plane. And then the second I get off the plane and walk off the plane, I'm like, I'm watching this thing until it makes it to the terminal and the baggage claim area for that. So, and like I said earlier, like even if they did lose it and it was we had nothing from that, I put all of our products that we were spotlighting and everything like that in a separate bag that I had with me on the plane, so like we had that fail safe done. And then if worse comes to worse, like we could have gone to a local New York barbecue shop. Probably would have been hard to find on the 4th of July, but like we could have pulled that off by saying, hey, like we need all this meat, we need this cut like this. We'll give you guys a shout out later, on our social media, but we're going to be using it for Fox. And like, we had some backup plans for that. And then, I mean, if worse came to worse, like we could have been freaking grilling that whole entire night before, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning on that Traeger outside of Fox and just winged it and did whatever we needed to. So, yes, there was some, but at the end of the day, like, thankfully from all of our partners and just, proper communication and planning, pretty much had it in the bag.
And those New Yorkers wouldn't have. They'd be like, "What is that? It smells like, what's this brisket? Who's
Yeah, well, I mean,
smoking meat in the neighborhood? I mean, I'm used to smelling pizza. What is that smell? I could only imagine the people that would have been flocking over there to that studio area when you were there. But something else you said too that's very, very true. You could have been bumped with all the crazy breaking news stories that we're living in right now in the 2-second media news cycle. Like literally every 3 to 5 minutes, there's another crisis moment that's going on somewhere in the country or somewhere in the world that these large news networks have got to cover. And being 4th of July weekend, it don't matter. News don't stop. And you could have easily been bumped. And they could have gone into this breaking news type segment. And there you are holding the bag, So again, up until it's done and over with and you've signed off, you're like, it's over and we did it and we accomplished the mission. My anxiety would definitely be running high, and good on you for getting through those moments and carrying it out like a true champion, because you did a very fine job. And folks, go just Google it. Just go online, type in Fox and Friends, Jason
You
Murff.
can do it on our website. If you just go to grillyourassoff.com and the search bar, type in Fox, and we have an online blog on there of all of our news articles we've been in. And it has the video linked inside there for everyone to be able to watch it on there. Because and it's funny what you're saying. Like as soon as you get done, it's like that sigh of relief. You're like, oh God, okay, that went well. That lasted for about 10 seconds, and then we look at the phone, and then it's all like, oh crap, this is the logistics start now. So I mean, and it's one of those things, like the second that segment was done, we went inside, grabbed a cup of coffee, because Sean and me are both spent at that point right there. And then we come back outside. They had a band there that was playing, and we were just like, okay, cool, we got a little bit more food, we'll wait till the band's done, we're going to offload all this food, and then we're going to book it out of here. So probably an hour after that segment, I'm back inside the hotel on a Google Meet with my whole entire team, going over all the logistics and our plans of action on the 4th of July, and to ensure that we're able to execute on all these orders and all these new customers.
Sure. Yeah. You had that 10 seconds of, whoo, it's over and we did it. And, and not only did we do it, but we crushed it. We hit a home run. And now you're like, okay, filling the orders and getting them out, So
Yeah.
after
Now
that happens, then the real work starts. Did you get to enjoy a little bit of New York, or were you right back at the airport flying right back out?
It's one of those things. I'm going to turn my do not disturb back on. Sorry. I've been to New York. That was my 4th time to be there. I'm not a fan of it. I mean, you step off the subway or, hop out the Uber, it smells like trash. There's trash everywhere. It's cool to go and like see everything and do all of it. But I mean, I'm a Texan and I love being in Texas. So I was one of those things. I'm like, man, I'm just ready to get home. It was super cool to see everyone. I love a lot of the food there. It's one of the things that's super cool. One of the things you do not sleep on. I know everyone in New York's all like pizza, Italian food, steakhouses, all that kind of shit. The Chinese food in New York is phenomenal. Like I love it. Go find you a little hole in the wall that looks like it probably hasn't passed the health inspection, and it'll probably be some of the best Chinese food you'll ever have. And it was a
Absolutely.
holiday, so it's like living, in the movie A Christmas Story. Like there's not a whole lot of places open on the 4th of July, so it was like, oh well, I know the Chinese food will always be there.
And I'm a foodie too, and I can agree with you wholeheartedly that those small hole in the walls are often the best places to eat. Yeah, the very, very well cooked, and again, the seasonings and the preparation and the magic that really goes into preparing that food. Again, for the ultimate satisfaction and the taste that you will have, and the ingredients and everything that they put together. I mean, again, these small mom and pop restaurants is where it's at. And I'm a Google reviewer as well, so I love going out and supporting those small businesses, and will continue to do so for as long as I'm here. So guys, I want to set the record straight on something. Grill your ass off is not a bad word, because look, dude, his logo is a donkey. Okay. A donkey is not a bad word. Okay. It's a
You would
jackass,
think.
right? It's an ass. That's just what it is. It's an animal. Okay. So it's not a bad word. It's only a bad word if you got perhaps a bad mind, right? Now, it's a donkey. Okay. So let's not forget that.
And we try and do that. That's why we have all, our mascot and all of our characters as a
Yeah.
donkey. And, one of the things that Fox said no to for us having on TV, which I totally understand. I just wanted to see how far we could go.
Mhm.
Like they said no to Infidel, which I understand, a donkey wearing a dead pig skin with a gun and having Infidel on it can raise some feathers. But like we love to have fun, and we're here to provide, not only to just amazing Americans, but specifically veterans and first responders and brothers and sisters that had the courage to serve the country, or the opportunity to serve. And that's why we have our branding the way that we do, and we're not going to change from that.
And you have done very well with that. And you have not changed who you are, because you are who you are. And folks, again, what you see is what you get. I went on there and he's got all 5-star reviews. And of course, one lady says, oh, I really love the seasonings, but the language that they use and some of their packaging is offensive to me. And you could have easily taken that one review and changed your whole business plan and said, yeah, you know what, I
Hmm.
really, but you said, no, that's not who I am. My business plan is on this, and I'm not going to veer off of that plan. And you have done that in a strategic way, again, that has landed you on Fox and Friends and Forbes and Fox Business, and being named the veteran-owned small business of the year in 2022, and everything that you are doing, you seem to be doing it all right. So you're staying on that course, and really, there's nothing getting in your way, because again, you work an honorable career, and everything that you have done from when you started your company in 2016 to now is growth, unprecedented growth, by just being you. And folks, just be you, and you will see great things happening in your life. Now, again, go online today and see for yourself. This is the gunpowder steak and brisket seasoning. This is the whiskey smoked seasoned salt. And again, guys, the packaging as well as the flavor is impeccable. The Willie Pete chicken seasoning. This stuff is really good, and I've been through several bottles of this stuff. The Sailor Jerry barbecue sauce. Again, another great organization that you have partnered with. We got a few minutes left. What does the relationship? You have forged two really good relationships, one with Sailor Jerry's and one with the Independence Fund. What do those relationships mean to Jason Murff?
I mean, it means everything because that's you know, whenever you go out to do something, and especially if it's going to be something that's you're dedicating your life to, and you're trying to influence and actually help other people's lives, and potentially change people's lives, that's your why. And a lot of people, you know, don't know their why. And for the longest time, I didn't know my why. And there's some days that I have to where I question my why. I question my sanity because there's some days and more days than not, I'm doing stuff that I don't want to be doing. But at the end of the day, the why always comes back to, and it's continuing to build this brotherhood, build this relationships, getting these veterans and first responders out, getting them, back together with guys, getting them to talk to people. And those are just two of our partners that we work with. We have multiple others, and for them to come out of their way to be able to say, "Hey, we want to work. We've seen what you do. We want to work with you." It's just humbling. It's one of those things where I never expected that would have happened. In my life, and as we continue to grow and accomplish so many more things, it's just like, hey, I'll have meetings with the guys and say, hey, keep in mind in the back of your head, like, we're about to be, completely and totally swamped, but this is why we're doing this. Like, these are the impacts that we're making and the changes that we're able to influence on people's lives. Like, and, with that in your head, it's like, all right, cool. It's going to be an easy day for me. We're making products that, can actually help people. I mean,
Love
outside
it.
of just, them cooking bad, our spices can help, a bad plate of food taste a little bit better, but, we're actually helping people's lives. So I just had to plug a little humor in there because, we're all getting all sentimental and stuff like that.
Man, you're awesome. Folks, Grill Your Ass Off products can be found nationwide. Tons of different retail stores. Find your store locator nearest you on where you can get Jason's products by going to grillyourassoff.com. Or you can just buy directly from the website and they will send it directly to you. Once again, grillyourassoff.com. Now, man, Jason, we sincerely appreciate everything you have done and continue to do in the military and veteran community. Your service, your sacrifice, and dedication to our great nation is truly admirable.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate that. And I mean, right back at you. I appreciate everything that you're doing with this podcast and, you're speaking, your book, everything to, and really empower veterans. And we need more people like this inside the veteran community. So I greatly appreciate everything you're doing. And one thing that I did want to say to all your listeners, if you were around a Ace Hardware and they do not carry our products, go inside there and demand it. We just secured a couple different of the Ace Hardware warehouses. So as we continue to grow and there's more demand, they have access to it. They're not instantly just going to carry it in every single one, but if you demand it, they'll carry it, and it'll help us grow to where we can be literally around the corner from you anywhere in the United States.
Love it, man. You heard that. Go to your local Ace Hardware and see if they carry it. And if they don't, demand it, and they will. Folks, don't forget to subscribe to the program. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Facebook, Twitter, and even now TikTok. I'm moving up in the world, folks. Always remember to stay inspired, stay encouraged, stay motivated, and always stay in the fight. Until next time, for Today with Tally podcast, this is Brian Tally. Good night, Semper Fi, and God bless.